Hey, good morning, Keller Williams. My name is Stephen, and I am with Rock Solid Home Inspections. And today our team is going to do a mock home inspection at a real property that is for sale. So if you like the property and you've got a buyer, don't hesitate to take a look and reach out. But what we do, we try and do this every other month, is we do a field trip out to a property and we walk experienced agents, new agents, people interested in seeing how things have changed. As we all know, insurance is changing. Properties are changing. So we actually walk them through a full home inspection. Takes about an hour, hour and a half. So it won't be as in-depth as, a full home inspection normally takes about 3 hours. But this is just an opportunity for us to provide information, have a Q&A. We have a lunch if you do attend. We call it the Eye of the Inspector. So we're about to get started. We'll be doing it Facebook Live. So I think that from the Zoom standpoint is what you guys will see. If you have any questions, you can always go on to Facebook Live, ask them, give us a call, email us. Even if it's after the fact, we're happy to be able to assist. But one of our certified master inspectors, Rob Alexander, will be hosting. So thank you for joining us now or later. But again, if you are watching this later, don't hesitate to reach out to us and we're able to answer any questions that you may have. It was to start at 10:30 and I think it is 10:31 now. So hopefully we are up and running and we'll check it out. Thank you so much. Oops. That is not what I meant to do. There we go. All right. Let's see if I switch profile. Let's kind of this. Yeah, it's down here. Let's go back to my profile. Let's see. There it is. Volume on.
Yeah, do my little spiel about roads and stuff like that and mitigation. Any questions that you have, I'm going to defer to them about insurance because the underwriters and these guys are the end thing, because it really, what I say on my report doesn't really matter when it comes to the verbal part of it. It's all what these guys say about the information. Okay. All right, so
They're at a
what
live
I like
property
to do with these
that's actually for sale.
is everybody
We're gonna
knows
walk
right now,
through,
this is a crazy,
just a lot of the different information that come up in a home inspection. I did bring some sample
Escalated.
4 points and wins in case he references anything, or if you want to look at them. If you have a question, ask me. If I don't know the answer, I'll text them and have them.
So as a realtor, you're walking you're doing a preview of property with them. I'm just going to do this. What this is going to be, this is not going to be a comprehensive home inspection. That's not what I want to do. I'm going to be here for 4 hours for you guys. What I want to do is I want to be able to give you some tools, the little quiver, or arrows to put in your quiver. That when you're approaching a house, when you're walking through a house, when you're viewing a home, you might be able to see some things that could either A, move you forward in the process, or you can eliminate that house and stop wasting your time to get to the house. Something that is more doable for your clients. All right, does that sound good? It is supposed to rain in about 15 to 20 minutes, but we'd like to take this show outside real quick and get the outside stuff done, or we all just want to get wet later on. So,
Is this for sale?
Mhm.
It's gorgeous.
yeah.
See if I can find the address real quick.
I love how you show it.
I know. It's a field trip. I think KW Seminole had quite a bit going. And then, yeah, we open it up to anybody that wants to attend. I think we were expecting a little over 20.
Shoot, let's go.
Okay. So we're gonna be all right a little bit. All right, can everybody hear me?
Oh,
All right, so we're walking up to.
Yep, the internet of the house is, if I had to guess, ticking a little bit.
And as an inspector, I'm looking, notice you guys are not gonna notice the things that an inspector does. That's what.
Oh, no.
I'm texting them right now. I've got 3 people on site, so we'll get it figured out. Hello, how are you?
Hi, good. I snuck in.
No worries. I'm Steven.
Hi, Stephen. I'm Kelly Scourton.
Nice to meet you,
Nice to
Kelly.
meet you.
Hey, Bunny. We're having technical difficulties, of course. I think they may have lost internet at the location. Having connectivity issues. So basically what he's looking to do is he's going to walk the exterior of the house currently and show some areas that a home inspector is going to be looking for to try and be able to fill in that gap of electrical panel. He'll also be looking at the HVAC outside, showing what exactly an inspector is looking for, both from a home inspection standpoint, as well as from the 4-point standpoint. So as you know, the 4 points are not as in depth as the full home inspection. So a couple of things that we've run into recently is a seller had a 4-point done, was clear. We went out and did a home inspection on it, and the seller was just prepping to make sure, hey, do I have any double taps, anything that's going to get called out. So when we went out and did the full home inspection, because we are a little bit more in depth in a full home inspection, we saw things that may have led us to believe that there was a leak. So when we filled out the 4-point, we, now knowing that, had to, it's not failed it, but had to put unsatisfactory, have a plumber come out and take a look at it. So just to kind of, those are kind of the differences sometimes that you'll find between a 4-point, because some people are using the 4 points as a selling tool to say, hey, house is insurance ready. And that may be the case, but again, the in-depth portion of the home inspection. So as he's going through, hopefully we'll get some connect. He is back up. It says. Let's see if I can. Switch and come right back. See if that doesn't. Let's see. It's fine. This mouse is
It's glitchy.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over here. Rob's got the mic. So welcome everybody to Rock Solid Home Inspections Showing Specialist class. We want to.
I think this is just a story though.
Williams and Seminole.
Yeah. And I will apologize for the delay.
Maybe if you go back to the page itself,
Yeah,
it should pop up at the top.
to refresh.
May I?
Yep, you may, of course. Oh, there he is.
Worse and worse and worse, and it's not getting better, and your kitchen's on the roof, anything like that. So obviously, if you see anything visible, like missing shingles, damaged shingles, if they're curling up, or especially if you walk in a roof, has anybody ever looked at a roof line and seen it looks like there's spider webs all over, it's just glistening and kind of shiny? That's where the aggregate is the aggregate's off of it, from average wear and tear from wind damage and stuff like that, and the asphalt is exposed underneath it, and so is the fiberglass, and that's coming up. That can also be a sign that the roof is at or nearing the end of its life. Okay, other than that, us being up on the roof on a ladder, giving you a full opinion on it, that's just really what you can do on the roof. Okay. I always walk around the house. My wife and I were buying homes. I always walk around the house and I look for a couple of things. I don't understand why people don't put gutters on their house, especially new builders in the state. We get over 100 inches of rain here a year. We see so much problems with settling around, in and around the foundation.
My inspectors get mad I don't have gutters. We tell this story every time.
Slab, so we have some shifting and stuff issues. So if there's not gutters all the way around the house, maybe let your clients know, hey, this is something you're probably going to want to do, because It's a great thing to have gutters in the state of Florida, all right? Morning, how we doing? Good. You're on TV. All right, so walking around the house, all right, we build houses on sand here in Florida. We are 150 miles away from a rock. So these houses settle. They start settling from the day the foundation's put in to the day that they stand forever. They're going to continue to settle. Now, if you're walking along, you see this little hairline, most of normal cracking from the house settling, all right? If you see a crack and you see some stair stepping where the block is, you can see it stepping and you can see like stick a quarter in, or God forbid, you can see sideways, you're more director's going to call something out for more than just normal settling. So that's give you a red flag walking around as well. Okay. And just get an idea generally about, how the house is. If you see any staining and stuff like mold and mildew, that could be a potential water issue that could be sometimes people think that concrete is waterproof. It is not. It's a porous material. Anytime you see heavy staining on the outside of a house, your inspector is going to spend a lot of time looking on the inside, same area, see if that moisture's actually got into the outside. So that can be another thing. So moisture around the house and all that. All right, all checked off. I could do the HVACs for you. Just get for the HVAC. Just if you want to, just look how it's been maintained.
We also aren't in a good weather day today either, so I don't know if that's helping.
Chances are it's probably a little bit older. We have to call out anything that's 10 to 12, 15 years old. I think it's 10 to 12 years old. We call it out as at or near the end of its life. So just a heads up on that. I mean, they can run forever. I've seen them that run 40 years, 35, 40 years sometimes, but some of them don't. They don't have a crystal ball. But there is, if you could see the manufacturer label, a lot of them actually have the date that it was manufactured on it. That's the best way to tell what it is. If you can't, there are some codes and stuff like that. I don't want to get into that because I don't want to waste your time. But things you can look for, make sure it's sitting on the pad, it's nice and strapped up, and the insulation line that goes around the suction lines is all there. And you just don't see any of this major red flags that are going on with it. Okay, no like pooling or ponding water coming out of it, stuff like that. This house, these two, we'll walk around, maybe there's more. All right. Anything else on HVAC?
Something that we've seen recently as well is just because you had it installed in 2020, if it's a 2019 unit, that's what your inspector is going to call out. So we have had some buyers, and maybe more for homeowners who are getting their insurance refreshed. Oh, I just had it put in 2020, but your report says 2019. We have to put what the actual manufacturer's is of the unit, not when it was installed.
Short answer is immediately. Anything that you can do to get water away from the foundation of the house and out, maybe in your neighbor's yard, I didn't say that, but away from yours is a good thing, okay? Because you want to make sure that soil around the house is settling at the same rate as underneath the house. So immediately, okay? Everybody good on that one? Now let's go into the garage real quick.
Was that Clearwater?
One's for free. I'm not gonna charge you.
I was looking up the address. I forgot. Hold on. I'll tell you.
You guys know there's no way an electrical panel, there's no way that as a realtor, you should be doing anything with the electrical panel. I mean, I know a lot of people that come in like, oh, it's a neat, and it's one of the good ones, blah, 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 blah. Here's a pro tip for you. Whenever you approach a panel, you see that you got these screws in here. A lot of times there's some weekend warriors that do their own stuff and they will pull them out, they drop them on the floor, and they will replace these things with pointed like construction screws just to get the thing to stay on there. I always suggest if you're going to mess with the panel at all, first of all, don't do it, let your inspector do it. But if you're going to, come out and touch this thing with the back of your hand, because what happens is if somebody's modified this thing, or God forbid, one of these screws is actually pierced in the wire and it's energized, you'll be able to feel that electricity on the back of your hand. And if it bites you, you can pull your hand off. If you reach up here and you grab the door like that and this thing's energized, what happens when you get electrocuted? Your muscles cramp up. So you're just sitting there just getting jerked around, right? So just come up here and hit it. If you want to open it up and go, okay, this one's an Eaton, we know this one's a good brand, I'll touch on that in a minute. And this one's a Square D, you can tell by the color, these are the good ones, that's fine, but just don't go up there and open up the handle immediately because that could be bad, all right? All right, electrical panels, if you want to do that. Insurance guys, I know it was like 10 years ago, 7 years ago, there was about 4 or 5 brands of panels and breakers that were on the recall list. and they were a no-fly zone, there were no insurance on. That has recently changed. Am I correct? Can I take this?
They still,
Challenger.
is that like it's all here, it's not really for our son. But they're also. So yeah, so it's no, I mean, but there's a privacy.
Yep. I'll tell you, there's Zinsco, Challenger, Sylvania, Westinghouse is one of them. Bryant's have been, there's the easy way to tell when you open them up is if you see brightly colored breakers on here, blues, yellows, greens, reds, that's a red flag, okay? If it says stab lock on it, red flag. Westinghouse, red flag, potentially, like I said, stab lock. Yeah, stab lock is, I can't remember, it was Federal Pacific made stab lock, I believe. And if you may run into a home because we seem to be getting into a series here where all the new homes, the better homes have been kind of cherry picked, and now we're kind of, as inspectors, we're seeing ones that have a little more deferred maintenance on them. You may actually find one that has the old, little round, fuses in them. That's a red flag. Okay. All right. Any questions on electrical panels? All right. The number one thing as an inspector that I'm going to tell you that we find in electrical panels is double taps. Double taps are basically these breakers are designed to have one wire on them. And a lot of times people don't want to add, so you got extra spaces here. People don't want to take the time, pay the $40, pay the $125 for the inspector or to come in and put a breaker. So just take the wires, shove it on there, put it on there. That is no, you're not going to get insurance on it if we call it out for it because it's got to be remedied. Okay, that can happen on the breakers themselves. You know, we also have to call them out on the neutral. I know I'm getting geeky on you, sorry, but there's other places on there. There's the bus bars on there that they can't be in certain applications.
So anything that they see visually.
No. No, that's gonna be with us.
that.
Yeah, I'm just letting them know as far as the insurance thing. When you see this is the most common thing. When you see this on your report, because you're not gonna pull the panel off, right? You're not gonna pull the panel off. All right, so when you see this on your report, it's the most common thing we document as far as electrical stuff in Florida here. And it's also one of the easiest remedies. Okay, it's super easy to fix. All right. Any questions on electrical? No? All right, let's go over here to the water heater since we're right here. I can tell you from this guy right here, that's an old one, just by the color, right? It's like, hey man, I mean, I'm glad I went to school and did all this stuff to tell you, hey man, this thing's got a bunch of rust, everything on there. It doesn't look right. If it doesn't look right, if it looks like it's this decayed, pretty good, you know. It may still be functioning perfectly, but I gotta call it out, and the insurance sees this like this, they're probably gonna go, hey, new water heater. Good thing about this is a new water heater is not too expensive. And the codes are on here. I don't have my old man glasses with me, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna take a play look out of Vito's right here. This one's for you, Vito. This is how Vito looks at stuff instead of wearing glasses on the job site. Yeah, he's there. All right, this one is a 96. Thanks for that. I'd rather just take a picture and blow it up. All right, so this one's a 96. So this one's obviously anything, it doesn't matter if you're talking about your toaster oven inside, your dishwasher, your water heater, any of that stuff. Most manufacturers that works in your house say that maximum life on was 12 to 15 years. Does that mean that they're going to crap out at 12 to 15 years? No. But that's what they're going to tell you. And so I've been seeing from insurances too, because it's happened before, seeing a 20-year-old water heater, didn't make any comments other than it was fantastic. And because of the age of it, the insurance made them replace it. Okay, so just be mindful of that. So most of the time on most of the water heaters, there's a stamp code on here. It's usually there's like 2 numbers and 2 letters or 2 sets of letters. It's usually the second one on here. This one is, I think it was HH 96, so I know it's a 96. Okay, little things like that. There's also a really cool app if you want to know, if you just really got to know for your clients, like say they're out of town, they want to know what the stuff is before they hire an inspector. There's a really cool app called building.org, and it'll take you to that, and it'll line out HVACs and water heaters by alphabetical order. You click on it and you scroll down, you can find the serial number that matches up with yours, and it's going to tell you which of those digits. So if you really want to do that, you can. Same thing with your HVAC. Okay. Yep, yep, I got it on my phone. Yes, Don. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, that's a great one. That's a really good question. The question is if there is a double tap, basically layman's terms, if there's a double tap, what is the remedy to do that so you can get a clean 4-point? All right, there's 2 ways to do it. I'm gonna recommend A and not B, because it makes it a lot easier for everybody. A, have it remediated by a licensed electrician and have an invoice, okay? So the guy's gonna give you an invoice that says double tap was repaired, here's my license number, here's my state, blah, 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 blah. And you're gonna send that information to the office, and the office is gonna send that to your inspector. It's gonna cost your clients nothing. It's gonna take us 3 minutes to update it and get that report back to you. Option B is have it fixed, call us up. There's a nominal fee associated with sending an inspector out here. We gotta pay them. Come out here, pull the panel off, take a picture off, and say it was remedied, okay? So anytime, if anything that you have on a 4-point, I will say this as gospel, anytime that you have anything that needs to be repaired on a 4-point, if you can, please get an invoice stating it was done by a licensed professional. It will make your life so much easier with your insurance. Okay?
In the room, also ask them to take a picture of whatever
Do
the
not
fix
get-
is, because sometimes insurance will reject it because they only have the picture of the old double tap, not the current fix. So it might be overkill, but you'd much rather have that than have to go back and forth and then still have us go back out and charge us, have to charge your client. And believe me, it's not worth the money that we charge to have somebody go back out, even though it might only be 15 minutes. It's a job that he can't be doing. So our preference is A as well.
Because these guys are great, they're gonna turn around and, so option C would be.
So this is Florida Best Quote, an insurance company that's partnered with us to present this today.
I just use my microphone.
You can't be on the ramp, I'm short, man. Send us the paid invoice, with a picture. So those 2 things combined, if they're repaired, we'll go, mark it off, maybe good, but I like his option, A better, because if you guys have that clean 4-point, you can use that, on 4 months or a year. If we need to rewrite it, a lot of clean 4-point ready to go next, so it's just easier to do that, they're hard. Always, I'm always gonna end up. Call your, ask what the options are.
So to answer your question too, no, we will not issue a new 4-point. If we're on that information, that photograph and that receipt, we will attach that to the old one and say this was repaired, so we're not changing the date on it. So it's just that it's been updated. Here's the proof that's been updated. And I have never, in my experience, I've never had an insurance agent put that out because we updated it. Okay, any other questions on that? All right, I kind of glazed over, we talked about the 4-point. The 4-point is, does anybody not know what the 4-point is in the state of Florida?
I have some sample ones if you didn't. if I
Okay,
didn't
so
get
the
you one.
4-point in layman's terms is basically Florida wants to know the 4 major components of the home if they're insurable: the roof, the electrical system, the HVAC, and the plumbing. All right, so this is a series of questions accompanied with backing up with photographs to prove it. And as your inspector, I'm going to tell you, I do not ever give any more information to an insurance company than they ask for on the form. If somebody wants something, nope, I'm not doing it because it just causes problems. It's really a kind of a plug and play. Check the box, check the box, check the box, check the box. It's this, and if it's good, here's a picture of it like that. Don't volunteer anything else other than what they want because it can cause problems. That's us as a company.
Don't send your home inspection report to your insurance agent. One outlet not working to them could mean the entire place is going to burn down. It could just be that one outlet's not working.
Okay, so as far as that, there's the wind mitigation too. Everybody know what the wind mitigation is? Okay, the wind mitigation is, okay. You got a question? The wind mitigation. Oh, you're new to Florida. Congratulations. Welcome to Florida. Welcome to the insurance nightmare of the United States. Okay, so that's the 4-point. We did the 4-point. The wind mitigation is this is where you get a lot of savings. You can't possibly get a lot of savings on your extremely high rated insurance in the state of Florida. Basically what they want to know is there's really 3 things. There's information on there's really 3 things that your insurance company is looking for. They're looking for a roof permit, the age of the roof, but they're looking for a roof permit after 3/1/2002, which this Florida standards changed for hurricane ratings because of the hurricane that they had. And they're looking for certain things that I know it's gonna be hard to explain, but every time, when you have a new roof put on in Florida, if you haven't done the permit, it needs to be done. They have to come back in to when I'm talking about the roofing company, they need to come back in, they're gonna tear off all the old shingles, they're gonna take their nail gun, they're gonna reattach the sheeting that's onto the rafters with 8D nails, okay? The long 8D nails, now they're ring shanks, okay? So they're the little rings, so they're like that. They're looking for that, so we have to provide them pictures of the roof, a roof permit if we can find one. We need to provide them.
Love technology. There, he's got it.
So that's where we gotta get up right here, we gotta crawl out. We gotta look. We don't look on the corners, obviously, because those are different, but we look within about 5 feet out, and we have to report on what the least amount of protection you have. There's four kinds. So here's the wall of the house. Here's the truss that sits on it. The no credit one is called a toenail, and there's 2 different types. Okay, so it's sitting on here. Basically, they'll just take a nail and they'll just kind of drive it in an angle and keep that thing from moving. That's a toenail. You really don't get any credit for that. The other one, this is what I do. I'm trying not to. Hey, come on in.
So one of the important things he did say while they mingle is that it is the least. So if the inspector may see the 3 or 4 of the most, but if there's just one, that's whatever the least one is, if there's only one with a toenail, he has to give the entire wind mitigation that toenail. Now you can have somebody come out, remedy it. There's companies that come out, and third nail companies, the company that actually uses us. They'll come out, they'll add the third nail, you'll get the additional credits, and then you just get a new wind mitt.
So we should have the microphone on the camera working now instead of Rob's microphone. Everybody want to wave? So can we get everybody's names really quick and who you're with? Nice. Welcome.
So they had to move their cars. So that's why Rob had to excuse himself for a minute.
Awesome.
Any questions that you guys may come up with, let me know. I'm texting to the group. So
it's Ryan with the B.
I'm done with the best home inspection insurance company in the entire world.
oh, there's KW St. Pete.
Awesome.
Is that another St. Pete one?
Yep. Okay.
Oh, they got a good group today. Looks like they had Chick-fil-A. I'm disappointed I can't get over there in time. The address at the property they're at was 2401. Yes. Have you looked at it?
Have I looked at the back?
Yeah.
No, actually,
So we can see everybody. With the raising hands.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. I was like, that's pretty good. He knows the property address.
So we have some newer agents. Okay, very cool. How many people here have been an agent for 6 months to a year? So almost a full year. I think I'm doing this backward, right? Usually go the other way, but that's all right. How many people have been here have been an agent for 2 years or more? Okay, we got some, okay. 4 years or more? Okay, wow. Wow, so yeah, we definitely got some newer people here. We got some experienced people here. It's a good mix. I don't think we're just really quick, your name and who you represent.
And I represent Starbucks.
Awesome. And how long have you been at it?
I saw them carrying a Chick-fil-A and I was in.
Less than a year. Okay, you're in good company. All right, so we're gonna plug back in and hopefully we can get back on.
Toenails, okay. Try not to get too geeky on it because I can go there real quick. The other one is, a lot of times we'll see a strap, there's a metal strap that they anchor to the wall and it runs up the side of the truss, right? Most of the time, there's 2 nails in there. That is also a toenail. But if you have the 3rd nail in there, that is now upgraded to a hurricane clip. Okay, so there's a lot of times when people have those, we're telling them, there's actually a company called Third Nail, not to give them a plug or anything, and we're not affiliated with them or nothing, but there's other ones out there that there's companies exist to come in and they will actually put that 3rd nail in there and it will save you money. It may cost you, I don't know what the fee is, which is depending on the size of the house. Let's just
think
say
it's a couple-
$1,000.
I think last I looked, it was like a couple, 1,500 to 2 grand. Yeah.
And then there's 2 more that are above that. There's single wraps and double wraps. I won't go into that, but anything, I put insurance guys, anything over a hurricane clip is all the same, right?
Right.
Single wrap, anyone double wraps or like that? Yes, I got that one right too.
Removed.
Right.
And
All right.
came in, find it.
That's really it for the 4-point wind mitigation. By the way,
Well, I guess it
the
was.
4-point wind mitigation, what
Right.
they're looking for is about 75 to 80% of what your inspector spends his time on, because those are generally the things that cost the most money. And you want them working when you buy the house, right? Roof, HVAC, electrical and plumbing. Okay, any questions? They do on the 4-point, the windows, exterior doors, garage door, all those opening protections. That's when your inspector has to go through and document. I will tell you, very few homes get all the maximum credit, I think, because I haven't seen any, because here's how it is, with the garage door. This is a good sign, and I have to verify for the inspection. I have to verify. I know these big old braces right here, this qualifies for hurricane rating. Excuse me, guys. This right here, there needs to be a minimum of 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one is hurricane rated, but what I really need is the tag on here that shows me the FL numbers on it, or some sort of number. Okay, but I can definitely tell you that this, even though this one is a glazed one, this one is impact rated. All right, same with the windows. I got to see the little sticker on it that has little things on it. They don't want to see stickers on them. But this door right here is going to kick you out of any credit for that, because this one is not hurricane rated and it is an exterior door. So that one, I'm going to say, yeah, everything had, but there was one that didn't. So it's no. All right, and so that's going to be, huh?
Regarding that.
Yes. So my understanding is you have to, the question is, even if there's just one little tiny, small little window somewhere, as I read the state laws, every window has to be verifiable that it is hurricane rated. Okay, now. Yep. Yep. Now, there is a, I believe I'm correct. God, I hope I'm right, because I'm batting 1,000 on this. If you have a covered patio and you have sliders in there, because it's actually not the exterior because it's covered, I believe those don't have to be. Am I correct? Okay, so we'll get more information on it too, but there's also other kinds of coverings. You can see the hurricane shutters and everything like that, but the most important thing is, if you have hurricane shutters, again, I need to get a snapshot of the FL codes on it, the wind zone ratings or anything like that for your insurance, because they want documentation proving it, because they don't want to give you insurance for something if it's not all there. All right? Any other questions on that? Question. Sorry, I keep doing that. Question. Is it a bad idea to have the glazing on the windows? I would say this is an impact rated window. I guess that's just a preference thing. We are so far inland here. You can see there's so many trees and stuff around here. For me personally, I really wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, if I was on the intercoastal or on something where we're getting a direct path, there's nothing in the way, you're just getting smacked in the teeth with a hurricane, probably wouldn't. I'd probably go, the other route to have just a solid frame one and have the braces on the floor, the post and beams and everything, and make my house more like a compound. But in here, we're pretty far in from the coast. All right, any other questions on that? Are we ready to go to the inside? Oh, it feels better in here.
Yeah.
I believe it's vacant, but there is a caretaker staying here. It's been here a couple of days. You want to buy it, right? No kidding. We can come in here, we can go into the big cool room, whatever you want to do. Too bad that keg's not working. All right, can you guys all hear me? Everybody good? I'll just duck down a little bit.
So quick question, are you guys finding some useful information out of this?
Okay.
Yes, able to answer your questions and learn a little bit more?
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, so once we're done, that's really the outside, the electrical HVAC. Now, as far as plumbing goes, guys, you're really not going to be able to tell a whole lot about the plumbing system. There's just a couple things that, for insurance purposes, that can be a red flag. And I'll tell you, the easiest way to do it is carry a flashlight with you, pop open underneath the sinks over here, and you can look where the sink plumbing comes out of the wall. Can you tell me what it is, Daryl? Can't see it?
I mean, I can see it now.
Okay, so.
Wow, put the marketing
so
guy
that's
on the
easiest
spot,
way to
right?
tell, but the absolute easiest way to tell something is walk up next to the toilet and see where the plumbing comes out of the wall. And about 90% of the time, unless it's been really painted over something, you'll be able to tell what kind of material is in that plumbing. Most of the time, I'm gonna say it's copper. A couple things that you want to say, where's my insurance guys at? Here we are. A couple things that you may need to clarification. I'll do the best I can. If you have any more questions, I'm gonna defer to the insurance guys. Couple of materials that are some red flags in the state of Florida. One is polyethylene. Polybutylene, excuse me, thank you. Polybutylene, PB. Okay. I don't remember the exact dates. I know it was the 80s and the 90s that they used this stuff. And it was just like everything else in the construction trade, everything that's new and improved, supposed to be the world's best last spring. Well, it was a problem because the burst rates and stuff like that weren't what they said it was, and they used the crimps, there were pinhole leaks and all that kind of stuff. Well, it was great because instead of having to run copper through the house and sweating all the fittings together, a plumber could come in with this flexible tubing and just really go through it. But being behind the walls, being in the ceilings and stuff like that, there's a class action lawsuit against it because pinhole leaks causing major water damage. So it is a definite no-go in Florida. It's even in the older mobile homes. They're not bringing any mobile homes either. And then most of the time it runs under the house. So there's really not an issue. It could not be an issue with leaks, but they're still there. You're making replace it. And what are they replacing it with? The new polyethylene stuff or polybutylene stuff, which is, and hopefully that doesn't turn out in 25 or 50 years to be a crock too. Right? So anyways, that is easy to see. That's a dark gray flexible like plastic tubing with copper crimps on it. It's really easy to say. I wish I brought some samples for you, but I just didn't. It's called Hvac. Okay, and it's white, red, blue, and sometimes black. And you'll see that all the time. It's the flexible stuff, but it's rated to like 140 psi or something like that. And it's clear. A lot of the time it's clear. It's new construction house. I see it all the time. It's clear. Okay. The other one, obviously lead pipes. If you go really old homes, stuff like that. Somebody was telling me they found an actual wood system recently here. It was on my inspector page. They found it in St. Petersburg, actual old wood plumbing system, which is crazy. I would love anything to see it, except I don't want to call anything crawl space to see it. All right, and then the other one is galvanized. All right, galvanized. Everybody know what galvanized pipe is. The problem is it's really great. I mean, it's rigid and everything like that. Problem is it gets corroded by the water and the chemicals in the water, and it starts constricting off, and it can actually cut itself off. We have no water flow at all. So insurances don't like that either. All right, and there's other ones out there, but really what you're looking for is copper or CPVC, which is that yellowish pipe. That looks like it just looks like PVC, but it's got a little yellow hue to it. That's still good, acceptable. All right. If you want to, you can come by and open drawers and stuff like that, but your inspector is going to do that. But we run all the appliances. You guys are not going to do that. We do the washer and dryer. We know that they're staying. If they don't convey, we don't touch them. Stuff like that. You can go through and flip on light switches and make sure there's nothing, if you can't figure out where something is going, that could be, we don't know where the stuff goes, that could be an issue too. But once you really get to the inside of the home, you're really restricted to just the opening up cabinets and stuff like that, because most of the stuff you're looking for, or we're going to be using some sort of equipment to test it, manual testing, or we're going to be using thermal imaging and stuff like that to find stuff. So you're really looking just for those little things like behind the toilets and the sinks and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. You want to know what it is? Should have brought my flashlight in. Sit here preaching and I don't have my flashlight. It's copper. Yeah, I can see it's copper coming out of the wall.
And where is it? Okay, wait,
Right here. You can see it right here. Copper.
Okay.
Okay. And we can go look at a toilet too if we want to. Is it really? I'm on top of the pyramid. Okay, back to some stuff, red flag stuff too. There's PEX, says it right on the pipe. Now, as your inspector, I've seen here that the house has got copper on. I saw it had copper out here where the connections are with the water heater. A lot of times they use this, they still use it. It's this little, they're the same stuff, this little gray tubing, it says PEX on it, okay? And they use it from where it terminates underneath the sink up to the actual faucet handle itself. If I can't find a stamp code from 2009 or newer, most insurance companies are gonna want you to replace it. It's not a huge deal, it's just a short little connector piece, like you can just shut the water off to this, to the sink, replace these things with a new braided aluminum or whatever. But on your report, I call the system satisfactory, but I have to report all the types of piping that I've seen, right? So I have to say PEX piping. Well, insurances are a little bit difficult, and I'm not picking on the insurance guys, but you really have to explain it out to them so they know what you're talking about. In most cases, not these guys are awesome. But I will write in your report, I saw copper piping throughout the house, PEX connector pipes underneath the sink and the blah, 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 blah. If they call it out, you gotta change it. Really easy fix. They're about 15, 18 bucks to fix them, and it takes 5 minutes and a little bit of aggravation. Okay, so that's not a big deal. So if you're new, if your agent, if your clients are looking at the report and they see this really big red thing, safety major issue, it's PEX piping, and we call it out, that's what it is, that's what it is. Just let them know it's a really easy fix. Okay. Anything that we have, like with electrical receptacles, we're going to test all the electrical that we can get to in a home. We're going to make sure that the GFCI is true. There should be GFCIs within 6 feet of water in the kitchen and the bathrooms and stuff like that. Yes.
So what is required when most police inspect?
We, as far as rock solid, if we can get to, now, here's the thing. We cannot do any deconstructive testing in home inspection. So I know a lot of people think that we can tear stuff apart and we're going to find every little defect. We're not. We're really basically limited to a visual inspection. That's why we do arm ourselves with all the electrical devices, all the moisture meters, the thermal imaging and stuff like that. We want to do the best possible job that we can for you, but knowing that we still have to work under the restrictions that we're bound to by state law. So we're everyone we can get to. Like I said, I mean, there's big furniture. I can't go in and move somebody's big old bed and slide it out of the way to go test the electrical outlet and damage the entertainment system, TVs and stuff like that. Now, you know, a lot of times the houses will have these little drop rugs and stuff like that. I will slide something over like a drop rug or something like that and go check those. If I can just reach around and move something that's easily you can do, I'll do that, but I'm not going to do it. None of our guys are going to move anything major and try to do that. Just not, we're not allowed to. All right. Yep, every window, we're going to open them up and we're going to test them and make sure they're functioning, make sure that they lock, make sure there's no cracked window panes, anything like that. And if there's no moisture around, because exterior, anytime you have a penetration in the house, whether it be windows or doors or anything like that, we're always looking for moisture on it. It's Florida, we get 100 inches of rain or more. So we're going to test all those. Now, again, I'm not going to be crawling over somebody's headboard and, you know, and trying to open that thing up. I'm going to tell you, hey, obviously the picture says, I'm going to say I couldn't get to this one, I couldn't get to it by normal access. Same thing, we're like with the attic and stuff like that. We will do everything that we can. None of our guys are lazy. Nobody's just going to walk in like, I don't feel like doing it. If we can get to it, we will do it. But we're going to remember, my guys and myself, our safety is most paramount. So we're going to do what we can with what we got to work with, but we're not going to exceed the standards of practice that we're allowed to do ever. Okay? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, thermal imaging. Thermal imaging was the question. One of the coolest things that we do, we have a whole bunch of extra things that we can do for you in a home inspection that's not really required of us. We have some ancillary service, but one thing as a company wide years ago, what we decided to do was add thermal imaging at a no cost to your clients. And we just threw it in because it helped us do our job better. And it helped, you know, give your agent, I can't say agents. It kept giving your client, it gives your clients a better idea of what's happening in the house. Now, thermal imaging, everybody thinks thermal imaging, oh, I can see water, I can see this and everything. You can't see water with thermal imaging. Thermal imaging is heat sensing, cool sensing. It shows you a really cool yellow, green, blue, purple, black. image of differentials in temperature. Now, how we use them, I'm gonna say this as a caveat. We can see anomalies in the ceilings, behind walls, things like that with different temperatures, okay? So, for instance, we're running the sink and we see a picture, we thermal imaging it, we see all the hot water going through thing, all of a sudden to the left, where we can't see behind the walls, there is a anomaly that's happening of, you know, a radiation of heat or something coming on. Gives us an idea that, hey, man, that's not, it could be a couple things. It could just be insulation that's heating up because the water's running through it, or it could be water that way, that's what's going to give us the okay to go ahead and pull out the moisture meter and do a little more investigative testing for you. So it does help us identify things. It doesn't identify water, it identifies heat signatures and cool signatures and gives us a better idea how we read it going on. So we'll do the ceilings, we'll do the walls around the windows, underneath the sinks, the toilets and all that kind of stuff. We also, anywhere there's a penetration underneath the sink or in the toilet, we're going to use a moisture meter that should go in every picture. And we're going to back that up with thermal imaging so you can see that there's nothing going on at the time.
We also do it up in the attic around the ductwork.
If we have any issues with staining and stuff like that, if there's places, especially like if it's places that we can't get to and actually physically put a moisture meter on, we can break out that thermal imaging and see if there's color variations, which is a good indication. If you've got a section that's nice and black, stained, wet, and it's all blue in the picture, everything else around it's this nice hot red to the sunshine, pretty good indication that there's some moisture going on. It was just moisture meter, yep. So we've added that. Probably a good time to talk about ancillary services. Are there any questions? Anything so far? Yeah, we're gonna get to that because I got a really cool tool here. Yes. We're gonna test it and make sure that. The question is if we just, if the blue sticker, I don't know if you see it right here, can you see this? Blue sticker on here, it's called a GFCI. So we're gonna come through here and we're gonna test them all and make sure that they function, they reset, make sure that they don't have any issues with the wiring, with like showing hot neutral reverse or open grounds or anything like that. But we're gonna do, if one is labeled and it's not a GFCI, we can't get a trip, we're gonna call that out because it needs to, if it has a sticker on there, it has to be a GFCI and be able to reset it. Anywhere within 6 feet of water, okay, in the inside. All right, so obviously the island would not have to be because there's no open water source here, but they got this one, the GFCI, they got them over there too. New home construction, they do them on the exterior, the garage, and then the bathrooms, and then some of them are even putting them in bedrooms and stuff now. So it just depends on what the contractors want to do at the time. Okay, but all that stuff gets tested, and anything that's not functioning flawlessly will get called out. Usually with anything that has to do with electrodes, it's a safety issue. So it's going to be, they're going to actually see it right on board. Our reports also, by the way, has anybody not seen a rock solid home inspection report yet? You guys haven't seen them? Well, you gotta get it. You gotta get a home inspection done, man. Because I gotta tell you, man, I'm pretty proud of them. I mean, they're pretty. I mean, not to say that we're not the most expensive company out there. We're definitely not the most least, but I do believe wholeheartedly that we have one of the best reporting systems out there. Thanks, Vito. And it's pretty intense. It's a lot of information. It's like, you're like, oh man, my house is perfect. Why do I have 90 pages? Why do I have 90 pages of stuff? Well, we do a lot of positive comments and stuff like that.
There is a sample report on our website as well.
Interior stuff like that. Now, I will tell you, if you've got paint touches and stuff like that, where somebody did a wall and they wiped it off, I'm not calling that out. That's just average wear and tear in the home. If you got cracking that's substantial in the floor, ceiling, wall, stuff like that, that stuff's going to go in it. Door rubs from furniture and stuff like that, not going in it because your report's pretty thorough enough. You just don't need to know that, the house just needs to be repainted. Okay. All right. Fair enough. There you go. Hear that? We have a sample report on our website. Yes, ma'am. Can you insure a home that has polybutylene piping in it?
So it's most carriers are not going to. I don't know, do we have a carrier that absolutely cannot?
Not at the moment. It's very easy.
That is the main thing that's so having it's a big thing. So yeah, I mean, I thought we had one carrier that was doing it. I could be wrong.
It's possible. I mean, we also, surplus lines carriers, certain things that the same lines carriers. see how those will work. So, I mean, generally, we'll get ahead of it.
I don't want to tell Rob to get any closer to him.
Just talk to the clients. Maybe we can sort of like they are already, it's, you know, what can we do? So the easiest way to just do things. Like send them, they're gonna be one of those, and, you know, pass everything and, I mean, obviously, we want to get close with stuff, but again, it's one of those things, that's very, very specific. So call your agency, whoever you're working with, and say, hey, what do you guys have? Here, is that fun with this? Who's going to take this? So we can narrow it down. To give the option to see the
Citizens, each takes everything, doesn't make sense. So. that helps.
So far, and Rob, you mentioned this issue, like, it sounds like your quickest way to closing as an agent is to get things done properly, and then anything that speeds up.
Yeah, well, I guess as your inspector, my advice would be follow the instructions that you have that we give you, because we don't leave you hanging on a report. We don't say, oh, here's a problem, deal with it. Our report's gonna say why there's a problem, polybutylene, it's gonna give you a paragraph that's that long. It's gonna let you know that's probably not insurable, and then you're gonna have it fixed. So, and that's pretty much with anything that you have. So we definitely, we've done a lot of time and effort into building the platform that does all this stuff out. So we ask that you take time to read the report and follow the instructions that we have, because again, back to 10 minutes ago, when I told you there's so many limitations on us as an inspector, we can't find everything that could exist. By you having a professional come out and what they're able to do, you may find stuff that was not visible to us at the time that could be a huge cost deficit to your clients or anything. So if we recommend further evaluation, please have it further evaluated. We don't just say that just to cover our butts, CYA. I mean, yes, of course, there's a little bit to that, but we're really wanting your clients to have this done so they can find any problems that we just can't find with what we're limited to. Make sense?
And if things are on the report to be given correction, they can possibly contact again.
We do, but we don't issue those on our reports. You can call us and ask us. I mean, punch list.
At the interview report, those points, if you like, that it's free. It's going to have all the issues that, they'll have all the issues that are on there, and punch list will put something together for you and give you rough estimates, and will help you work with different contractors.
So in our inspection report, there's a link. You click punch list. It's an outside company. They can give you estimates on any repairs. You just download the report to them. They'll give you estimates that you can go back to the seller and say, hey, this needs to be fixed. They also do have local contractors. If you choose to work with, you may have your own, but they do have local contractors that they can help coordinate you with that can get those items fixed for you. And it's free. They offer us a free 24-hour turnaround. So there's no charge even to get that estimate from them. And it's right in your report. Under the summary, it says repair estimates or
I'm gonna put it
something like that. And then there's a link there.
I'm gonna deflect it to one of these other agents that's gonna let you know what to do. The question was for new agents out there moving forward, is if a house does have an issue that needs to be, how do you go about remedying that so they can go to closing? And so that's an agent question. Agent, yeah. So ask one of these people that have experience, because that's just outside the scope of what I want to talk about.
And you know what? Here's what I suggest also. We're gonna wrap this up pretty soon.
Yep.
Right? And we're gonna have lunch, guys. And what I suggest is you guys write down questions, and this is where you get to ask each other, you know, questions and things of how you do it, which is why we made a point of so many different groups and brokerages here, just so you guys can get out there and get new information. This is a perfect opportunity. Plus, thanks to Florida Vespo provided food.
Can I have just 2 minutes?
You can have
2 minutes.
6 minutes.
6 minutes. 6 minutes. All right, 6 minutes. I gotta go. Because I think it's a great added value, reverse that added value to your clients. We do, because I'm looking at the pool right now, man, it's looking ugly outside. We do an enhanced pool inspection, and I'll defer on to that later on, but we do an enhanced pool inspection, and we have this really cool machine called the leakalizer. We can tell you if your pool is leaking, if it's losing water more than normal evaporation rate. Okay, so it's a really cool thing. We do a comprehensive, besides like throwing a snorkel on, jumping in the pool, we do everything else. We test all the components, all the water features, and all the stuff like that. It can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to do it, depending on what happens. If we notice there's a leak, we're going to shut everything down, and we're going to find out and try to give you a good idea of where the leak's coming from, whether it's the pool liner or in the underground plumbing. Okay, I'll talk about more about that later. We have air quality mold testing. All right, we are not mold guys. We can tell you, hey, look, there's mold, but the only way to tell your clients 100% if there is active airborne mold in their house is to have an air quality mold test. We are facilitators for ProLab. I think it's out of Weston, Florida, or maybe I thought that's where it used to be. But anyways, is it Weston? Perfect. Man, I'm about 1,000 today, man. Good. So what we will do is we'll take an air quality sample. We're going to do it on the outside. We're in Florida. It's humid, hot, moisture. You're breathing mold. What the other tests do is we're going to do on a house this size. I'm going to say we're probably going to do 3 to 4 tests, depending on how much what the square footage is. And what the guys in the little white coats in the lab at Weston do is they're going to take that sample, they're going to see what's around the house, what you should be breathing inside the house, and they're going to compare it to the samples that are inside the house. And they're going to let you know if there's more mold in the inside of the house that exists on the outside of the house, or if there's different types of mold on the inside of the house that exist on the outside of the house. Either one of those can be problematic in certain people, but the air quality mold test, and I don't want to tell people it's, it's going to find everything. It's not. It has to be airborne. Okay, so it has to. You have to be breathing it for this machine to test it, because it's a circulating pump that runs through a little petri dish for 5 minutes for certain liters and all that kind of stuff. That's for the geeks to do. All right, so that's it on that. The other thing we have is we have sewer scopes. I hated the fact that we found out we were going to bring sewer scopes in, because nobody wants to play in a sewer, right? This is not a good idea. Not fun. Yeah, I'm going to grab it, but the sewer scope is actually one of the things that I think I would honestly say that my agents, especially buying a home in this St. Pete, Clearwater, just say Pinellas County, and they're buying a home from the 50s, 60s, 70s on there with cast iron, clay, pipe, all that stuff, because there's a multitude of different things that are going on with that. I would spend my money and get a sewer scope done over doing a home inspection. I didn't say that as a company guy, because that's bad business, but for me, this is why.
I love his honesty.
I have about 100, a little over. I wish I'd have brought my computer and a big screen TV, because I could have fired up my YouTube page and I could have 100 sewer scopes sitting there, and I could just say, go pick one. And you will see anything from small issues to major issues. All right. One of the major issues, I know I'm short on time. This is cast iron. I don't touch this, but I have to wash my hands afterwards. All right. This is cast iron pipe. All right. This was supposed to have, supposed to be the next greatest and best thing, right? It's supposed to last forever. So it really only has about a 50-year shelf life. And the problem is, you can see this flaking and crusting and stuff like that. It starts decaying from the inside out, and it starts delaminating, getting cracks in it. And if it's not properly maintained, it can choke off. It's going to trap solids. It's going to trap the toilet paper. It's going to trap all that stuff, and it can be a total nightmare. The reason why I say the value of this is, does anybody have an idea about how expensive it is? How expensive is it? You have an idea how it is?
And we do have rates from anywhere from 2,000 to 8,000 to 8,000.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, Florida, it's about, I'm just giving you a ballpark estimate. It's about $100 a linear foot to replace it. All right. The range was 2,000 to 8,000. Was that here in Florida? Okay. So here's the thing that you need to understand. If you're on a sewer system, you are responsible as a homeowner. Your buyers are responsible from the house to the city tap, which could be on the street. If that is 30 feet at $100 a square foot, do the math on that. If it's 100 feet that they replace, it can be quite substantial. If there's problems underneath the house, you're talking jacking the floors up and stuff like that. Now, here's the thing. This is a high definition 4K camera that we're going to run through if we have access out in the yard through a clean out, or if we have to jump on the roof if it's safe, we'll do it that way. We're going to video the line all the way out to the city tap if we can reach that far. And then if we will turn it back in underneath the house. We're going to identify any problems. It could be just something simple like, hey, you just need some maintenance on this, have this thing cleaned out every 2 years, or, oh, you got roots intrusion going through this is going to be repaired. It's quite substantial. So that's why I said, tongue in cheek, if I had to choose, I would do a sewer scope. Because of this, the cost that's associated with it.
Especially if your house is where.
And if you saw anywhere, but St. Pete's also. Yeah, you know, because I mean, you gotta figure out all this stuff went in by the lowest bidder. You know, we're ranked in work state, all the stuff was installed by the lowest bidder. I mean, so we find in new construction, we find major issues in new construction stuff too. So just keep that in mind. Now, when your inspector offers that to your clients, don't think, oh, it's just a cash grab. He's doing it because we are armed with an arsenal of things. Like I said, 100 videos, anyone you pick one out, you're gonna find anything from little problems to absolute major problems. So.
And not only that, we're, right now, we're working a special round of.
Yeah, logos.
Yes.
Imagine how.
Rob doesn't know anything about that.
I know where his limitations lie.
Thank you.
So we're okay.
No, we're not married either.
No, but I love his wife, so there's that. So, with that being said, we do have packages that we will give you some discounts on if you use them. For example, if you feel like an air quality mold test and a sewer scope and use the pool enhancement, we can package that together for you. Or it's kind of a la carte. If you want to do it separately, you can do that. However, we do recommend the packages because we do discount that. And because this is our 10th year, we're giving you an additional 10% off those. So the packages are really something that we are finding that people are really taking great advantage of. And when you go to our website to look at that report that we have out there, you're going to go through the packages as well. There are two different types of packages. One, you can get all three. The other one, you can get all two. And the package, of course, includes the full home inspection, the floor plating wind, and all these other ancillary services. So strongly encourage you to go to our website to see Rob with them.
No. Rob gives no cares about that stuff.
To some degree, it's going to be based on square footage. So by all means, just kind of, you can plug your information in. So by the way, that's how the price range is.
And our reports are same day. So, I mean, there are very rare occasions something will crash on our computer system, but most of the time we'll have them out to you that evening. If not, there'll be an email that goes out, say, hey, we had a system crash, we'll get this out to you, but we're gonna give your clients a verbal. Anyway, if you're there, we're gonna give you a verbal what's going on. We're not gonna go through the whole report. We're gonna give you the cliff notes, the high stuff that you need to know about, so you can be armed, ready to make your play with your negotiations, but you should have the report sent to you via email, PDF form by the end of the evening.
And I am gonna make a suggestion. I just want to suggest to everybody that if you have a buyer in Pinellas County, you're doing them the best service you can by arming them with information. If you do the sewer scope, because having been on the different chambers within the county, as the cities go through, they've been facing times, people who had no idea, even homeowners, they get a notice from the city. Hey, you got to spend $2,000, $8,000, $12,000. What are you talking about? Like, well, we replaced it in your pipes. Well, I'm not paying for that. You are. No, those are your pipes. You own the home. So if you have, especially if you have a buyer, do them a favor. It's reduced cost for the company. You're doing them a service. You're being the best agent. Fighting for them and arming them with that information. Because I've seen too many complaints at the city homeowners. When I was down there on these committees, they're complaining. So do them a favor. You come up with your own. I mean, yeah, it's actually for these guys to do, but you guys love your throw that out there, especially as agents. Or your buyers, you have information, they don't know this, that you do, that makes you great.
And it also gives you an opportunity to protect. And protect. Because the last thing you want is 6 months down the road, you have a minute of service. And something went way south, only the time not going to get back to you as a you sold me a house and you didn't get support. So what we're going to try to do is just, of course, want to make sure you take care of your client, make sure you take care of you.
Oh, there you go with that. Do you want me to cover that? Or you want to? I got the microphone.
What's your question?
Home warranties. What do we offer? All right, so I'm gonna give you we're gonna run that short on time. I'm gonna give you the 30,000 foot view. Every home inspection comes with The 90-day buyback guarantee through Internachi. Internachi is the largest home inspection company in the States. It trains all of our inspectors and do all our ongoing education with them. They have the buyback layman's terms. If something is missed in your home inspection and you move out, this is 90 days after closing, so your clients have 3 months. Something's missed, it's dangerous, they move out because we missed it, Internachi will buy the house back from them. It's not smoke and mirrors, it does work, they have bought homes back. I'm not saying that it was our company, because we're associated with, we see a lot of these things that are bought back, so they do it. We have a 5-year platinum roof guarantee. It's going to cost your clients $500 if they use it, but it gives them up to $3,000 worth of roof repair if they get a leak within 5 years of the inspection date. 90-day stuff we have sewer guard, we get it covered from the front door of the street. That doubles if we do the sewer scope for them. We cover the appliances, electrical panel, water heater, all that stuff for 90 days or 22 days after closing, which is ever the longer of those 2 terms, but they have to be 10 years or less. They do not cover the refrigerator. I don't apply the refrigerator, do not cover. And then we do mold safe still, right? We do mold safe. So it gives you, I think it's $2,000 of mold remediation if there's mold found after the inspection. And again, that's a 90-22 split. Choice home.
Choice on warranty as well. If you want to get a full warranty, choice on warranty, they give you mention months. Choice on warranty.
And you can't fall, if you really like me, you can fall.
I think his mic went off. I think they're done with the home inspection part. I think they're just talking about basics. Yes, ma'am.
One or two questions that you guys have, and then what I'd like to do is just get everybody together. Just
Warranties? Mhm.
So, Matt, I think you had a question? Yeah, let's do 2 questions.
You want me to just email it to the office and you can get it sent out? Okay, perfect. Couple things that he had talked about with the packages. So basically there are 3 levels. So the comfort packages pick one of the 3. The sleep all packages pick 2 of the 3. And then the peace of mind packages, you get all 3. And that does include the full home, the 4-point in the wind. The discounts run from the lowest one is 10%, 15%, and then 20%. And then again, it is our 10-year anniversary. So then we're adding an additional 10% on top of that. And then everything is by square footage. So 1,000 square foot home is going to be different than a 1,500 or 2,500, 3,500. The pricing for the standard pricing for the enhanced pool and the sewer scope is a flat fee. It's $345. But again, as you get the packages, it starts to get discounted. But again, so does the home inspection, so does the 4-point, so does the wind, because everything is. As he said with the air quality mold test, however, the bigger the home, the more samples that we need to take. So on a 2,500 square foot home, it's 1 sample outside, 2 samples inside. For every 1,000 square feet, there's an additional sample that they take. Each of those samples costs the company money. Shipping it next day air costs the company money. So that price will go up. So that's not a standard. It starts at $345 and then gets more expensive as the home gets bigger. All of the reports are same day, except for the air quality mold, because again, we do have to next day air it down to Weston, Florida. Typically, we have those results the next day. So if you were up against an inspection period, and let's say that your inspection period ends on a Wednesday and we have you scheduled for Tuesday, you 90% of the time should have it back Wednesday. If we have the availability and you need us to go out Monday just to do the air sample, because again, it takes the guys 30 minutes and I have somebody in that area and they can just stop by, get the air sample, get it shipped out so we can improve our chances of getting it back by Wednesday. We can 90% of the time schedule that, again, just to help you out. We do all have Supra, so that doesn't mean you have to go to the property twice. As long as you, your listing agent, and the seller are all comfortable with us coming in, getting it done and leaving, that is perfectly fine. We are licensed and insured. Trying to think of anything else that he had mentioned. The enhanced pool inspection is weather permitting. So we try not to schedule those in the morning, especially during the summer, because we all know what happens in the afternoon. It rains. Because remember, it's measuring the evaporation rate. So if we're measuring what the evaporation rate should be, and water's coming into the pool because of rain, it's not giving us any information.
So you're saying you're trying not to schedule it in the afternoon.
We're trying not to schedule the pool inspections in the afternoon. We normally try and schedule those in the morning. I'm sorry, yes, it was vice versa. So even today, we knew that, we try and look at the forecast, so we scheduled the two pool inspections we had for the morning, even if we have to try and schedule somebody else to come out to do it. We again try and provide you guys as much as we can. We have 10 inspectors on staff, so typically we can be pretty flexible with things. I will tell you that, I don't know if you guys are aware, Avatar Insurance has went out of business. And basically they're giving, some people have until the 13th, we've heard, some people have to the 16th, and some people have 30 days. They have to all get 4 points and wins. So I actually have one inspector tomorrow doing 6 4 points and wins. So that means he can't do any full home inspections. Well, that stinks for you guys because you're like, hey, I can negotiate a 3, 5, 7 day inspection. It'll help my, so we this week have, I think we were at 80 inspections the last time I checked this week. Now that includes full home, 4 points and wins. But I mean, starting to pick back up, right? This is the time of year where you're going to start picking back up business. So we do the best we can to get you in as soon as we can. If we get a cancellation, we have a list, hey, if something cancels, I think, Bunny, we've done that for you as well. Yeah, she'll be scheduled for Tuesday. I'll get a Monday cancellation on a Saturday or Sunday, and I'll text her and say, Bunny, I just had an opening on Monday. If it's unoccupied, normally it's no big deal. If it is, sometimes you may have to reach out and figure that out. But we do try and, make as soon as we can available to you. So pool, sewer scope. I am a big proponent of the sewer scope. I'm also a big proponent of the air quality mold test. I suffer from asthma and sinuses. We do live in Florida. It's everywhere, but it does tell you the levels and types. So if you have somebody who's got really bad issues and they know what they can and cannot breathe, the report actually breaks down what type of mold is in the home and what level it is in comparison to other things. So it can add value. But the sewer scope is important. It's probably in homes, it's probably the second or third most expensive thing, depending if they have a pool, right? It's normally your roof, your sewer line, and your pool. You're probably your 3 most expensive things other than the foundation and such. But
Sewer scope is one of my highest, I highly suggest in this area that you have it done.
right. And a couple things could happen. One of the benefit of us doing both the pool and the sewer scope is that we don't care what the outcome is. I'm not trying to sell you a quarterly pool service, right? I'm not trying to sell you a new faucet in the kitchen as a plumber might. Ours is just strictly unbiased. This is what it is. Do with it what you might. Sometimes, however, as Rob had said, if there's a clean out, 99% of the time, there's no issue us performing the sewer scope. If we have to go up on the roof and use the plumbing vent, those can be bad angles. We might not be able to complete it. If we literally cannot do it, we're not going to charge your client for it. If we can't do it because there's a block, we're going to charge your client for it because although we couldn't get all the way out to the county line, there was an issue that you need to have a plumber come out and, fix or what do they call it when they, so the value was there. We're going to work with your clients. We're going to make sure that we take care of them. We're not, as Rob said, it's not a money grab. It's about adding value. Correct. Yeah. And we do cover, in case you guys get somebody up in Pasco, I have an inspector who lives in Hernando. So I cover all the way up to Hernando. I have multiple inspectors who live in St. Pete. So we cover Manatee. We've went down to Sarasota to help you guys, but I'm not marketing down there. If just a client or maybe an agent called me and I don't know them, I might not send somebody all the way down to Sarasota County. We have covered out to Lakeland. So typically, if you guys have something, we're going to be able to try and assist you.
All right, everybody.
Yep.
Everybody getting? Is there a cost per square foot?
Yes, so I can give you, yep, no worries. So our pricing is based off of square footage. I can give you a range. So 1,000 square feet, 340. We did a 6,000 square footer yesterday. At that point, it's going to cost me multiple inspectors a full day. So the typical every 250 square feet, the price goes up. It looks like about $20 to $25, right? So you can get an eye. But at 6,000 square feet, I have to take that $20 to $25 away because now I have to pay two inspectors for a full day. I need to replace the other 3 inspections I can't do from a company standpoint. So it probably doesn't fall into that range. But then at that point, once you start adding in, those are luxury properties, they have a pool, they're going to want it. They're gonna want to know the sewer line because they're bigger properties. So it probably falls right back in line once you start adding those discounts back in. We have repeat client discounts. Hero's pretty flexible. Nurses, teachers, doctors, EMTs, military, police. You know, we want to try and take care of the people that take care of us. So we do offer that. We do also offer agent discounts. I've actually had one of two things that some agents like, either a 15% discount on the inspection itself, or I'll do a free sewer scope for you. So I mean, that's a $300 and some savings. And typically is more, as Rob said, not more important than the home inspection, but gives you a lot of value. So, and I still pay my inspector to perform the inspection, so it's not costing him anything. So, but I feel like the value that you guys see in it, just like Bunny said, is if you had it and you found something, you're more likely to make sure that you understand what that process is and why it's valuable to your buyers.
And in this area, you find more older homes who are needing that scope more.
I would 100% agree with that.
Newer construction, I think.
Oh, he had mentioned newer construction. So the problem, yeah, and here's the reason why, because we actually did one down in Lakewood Ranch. And you have to remember the contractors, the painter didn't care, right? He's renting everything down into that sewer line. We found their blanket. We literally found a tarp in the line because the guy just threw it down there. It rained, it got it wet enough that it would fit. And it was probably about, of the 100 feet, it was probably about 50 to 75 feet down. Now it was worn and ripped, so it wasn't blocking stuff. But at what point does that start to catch enough stuff that now you're fully blocked? So they had to go and they had to jet the line. That was what I was looking for. So they jetted the line to get it out to go into the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting process.
So we do new constructions. New construction managers hate it. They don't want us. They think that their house is perfect. The one thing I will say there is if you haven't done new construction, don't live by the date they tell you, as I'm sure that you're aware of. We had an inspector drive all the way to Riverview. He lives in Clearwater, and he drove all the way to Riverview on Monday. And he's like, the power wasn't on, all the water wasn't connected. So because the power's on, he can't test the AC. So he's like, he called the client. He's like, I can do the full inspection for you and offer you nothing, or we can just, reschedule. We do have a 24-hour cancellation fee. It's $100, but normally it's $100. And again, I just take that money and I pay my inspector because he basically didn't get paid for the day. So I try and take care of my inspectors, and that way they'll take care of you and your clients. If I can take care of them, they're going to not do a better job, but you know what I mean. Any questions on the home inspection? He talked about thermal imaging. The one thing he didn't mention is he did say that we use it on the roof sheathing, but we also do use it on the ductwork. And the reason for that is it could help us tell if there is a hole in the ductwork that might be permeating cold air or hot air if we're running the heat up into the attic. So that thermal, and again, it's all about temperature. It's not about water.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me today.
What was it you were gonna email to me?
The warranties and guarantees.
So if any of you would like that, send me an email or just come see me at my desk after this.
And what I'm probably going to do is we have that on our website. So I'm probably just going to send you the link, because on our website page, it has a list of the warranties and guarantees. And then you can click on them and you can look at exactly what it covers. Like you said, it doesn't cover the refrigerator. And my thought process is because it's open and closed the most, it's probably the thing that's going to go out the most. And it's not a save all that 90-day is. What that 90-day really does is it helps protect us and protect you, because a home inspection is just a point in time. I mean, if anybody's owned a car or owned a home, you know that the car didn't start. Well, the battery worked an hour ago, doesn't work now. If you owned a home, you went home in this middle of summer and the AC hasn't worked. It wasn't really the inspector's fault, right? The inspector tested the AC, it worked at the day inspection, but this will allow you guys, an additional 90 days to, give us some additional protection as well. So I'll get that emailed over to you.
Give you a quick plug instead, these are not all, inspections aren't built only for buyers. You can have pre-listing inspection too, which I've done before, just to make sure that we're covered, because we're gonna be really tight on the backside.
Right.
We're not gonna be able to do any repairs, and if you have enough time, that they can get those repairs done before that.
And the cool thing, because we just talked about the warranties, is if you do a pre-listing inspection, these warranties still apply to your seller. And they get an additional 30 days for the buyer. So they actually turn in from a 90-day to 120-day. So it gives the buyer it gives you a little incentive to say, hey, there's also another additional 30 days or 45 days, how many of you have left of a limited warranty? And then you can just, print that and give it to them or something like that. So in this market, we're not doing a lot of pre-listing inspections, but when it flips, they are really helpful because it also helps you with your pricing and your timing. You'll know, to Bunny's point is, hey, it needs a new roof or it needs a new AC. Let me price it right because we don't want to fix it or replace it. Or let me just get it done. And that way somebody comes in, it's gonna pass or whatever the case may be.
So it's.
You are quite all right. I understand.
It's a rocksolidhomeinspections.org, and then you just click guarantees and warranties, correct?
Yep.
Perfect. And then you can scroll down and see there's the.
And yep, so you can download the policy right there.
Yeah, everything's here for download.
The one thing Rob did say about the sewer guard is it's 90 days, but if you get the sewer scope, it extends to 6 months. Because they know what the condition is because they can go back and look at the video. Now, remember, these warranties and guarantees are only good if there was nothing wrong at the time of the inspection. So if the inspector calls out that there's roof issues and the roof leaks, they're not going to cover you or your buyer if they didn't do anything about it, right? So if the roof had no issues, the 5-year roof leak protection is going to be good. If it had a roof leak at the time of the inspection, then you're going to, and it starts leaking again, that's on the roofer that did the work and whatever their warranties were, or whatever the case may be. So again, this is really for, hey, it worked at the time of the inspection, there were no issues, these will help. If there were issues, whoever came out to fix it, and that's why Rob said, highly recommend qualified contractors. Because then you have somebody to go back on if for whatever reason that didn't work, compared to, Uncle Bob, who has a screwdriver and a flashlight. Yeah.
I want this great nail gun at Harbor Freight.
Exactly. Well, I thank you guys for your time. I hope this was helpful. We do these every couple months, and it's a field trip if you want to go out. I mean, probably today was not a good day to go out there, even for the free Chick-fil-A. But we do feel like adding value is something that we really pride ourselves in. So I will say, just like you guys do when you're getting a client, there's 10,000 realtors. What's that?
Can't call them clients.
Oh, we're not allowed to call them. What are they? Customers. All right. So the same thing you tell your customers is, there's 30,000 agents. Why choose me? I understand there's thousands of home inspectors. I have to add value if I want to be, if I want to help represent you guys. I do. So on our website, by the way, I'll take a plug there. If you go back to the homepage, I'll take a plug from Bunny. There is a call number. There's a text number. There is a book online. And I am one of those, what did we call them earlier? The little red,
The notification.
I hate notifications. If I see the number 5 in red on my email, it drives me nuts. So believe me, I'm going to look at it and I'm probably going to answer you as quickly as I can so I can get rid of that notification. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. You're the best.
I owe you guys